This video tutorial will be the second part of Microsoft Exchange Server 2010 installation alert and guide. To begin, locate the files that were extracted and open the system. Click on Install Microsoft Exchange and wait for it to initialize. You may close the window panel now. After that, click on Next. All accept and license and click on Next. See which will allow us to have some feedback on issue and error boxes. Click select the color change the resolution and click on Next. Enter the organization name. This will be pulled up if not the Exchange server development crashes. Click on Next. So it's allowed the clients to be a tradition. And click on Next. Enter a familiar name for the address for the server, which will be allowed to have the addresses to be used across the internet. And click on Next. Click on I don't want to join the program and click on Next. The system will check all the prerequisites that allows the Exchange to be installed and will provide feedback if any error present. As you can see, we have one warning here, which is normal because we don't have an Exchange server installed on the server, so that is fine. And as you can see, all the other prerequisites. This error is appears because there is a failover cluster enabled on the server. So temporarily disabling it to test the functionality and continue on configuring the Exchange server. After removing the cluster, the Microsoft Exchange Server 2010 should have no problems to continue installation, as we'll go through now. To remove the cluster, which will allow to install the Exchange server, go to the Failover Cluster Manager, expand the cluster and go to Nodes. And then on Server 2, right-click More Actions and Stop Cluster Service. To solve that issue, right-click on the cluster and shut down cluster. Click on Yes. After that is done, we should be able as a feature. For this issue, go to PowerShell and open it as administrator. And then type in import module failover clusters and then type in clear custom node. Type in Y for yes, and OK. After that, you may continue to remove the failover cluster. Next, and remove. Click on Close and head back to the installation and click on Retry. And as you can see, we have followed until the end of the validation, and now it allows us to install the Exchange server. To save time, I'm going to pause the video until it finishes the installation. Once you have accessed Exchange Management Console, expand Microsoft Exchange on premises and go to Organization. After expanding the console, go to the Organization and click on Mailbox. Over here you can specify the file location and where your log and database will be included. And for the client access, this will be left as default, and basically it's about the policies that clients could access. Most importantly is the hub transport, and basically it consists of the file. It consists of multiple tabs. One of them is where the filter is going to be created, and as you can see, all domains have a default remote domain. So by writing the star, it means all, and what it does is that it assigns permission to be accessed through all around the world, but this can be specified to a specific domain or forest. In the accepted domains, basically these are the number of domains which will have the right to send email and have clients to be able to receive from. So if a domain is not listed in here, the recipient will not be able to receive the email. The next tab is about email address policies, where it specifies information
on how the email server is configured, and therefore this is left as default policy. And for the next tab, which is transport rules, it is similar to the email address policies, but it's not like Outlook. It works on the domain level. And the next one is global settings. Well, basically, the global settings allows the of sending information with unallocated sizes, and this is related to also the capacity and the storage which exists on the server. And here it sends information if there are other domains that need to forward the message for the message delivery. However, the most important thing in this hub transport node is that you configure send connectors, and these are what will actually send email and transport email from client to another. To configure send connectors, right-click on the window and click on New Send Connector. Over here, write a name for the connector with consideration that the naming should be should consist that the email will work for over the internet, so that it can be accessed anywhere in the world. And for that, I'm gonna write I exchange. And for the next selection, select internet. And then click on next. Click on add, and for SMTP, write all by using the symbol, as this will allow us to send to everyone and all domains. Click OK, and then click on next, and make sure that you select the first option, which is use domain name system DNS MX records to route mail automatically, and click on next. After that, select the server that you will be using, or that will have the Exchange server, and click on next and create new, and wait for it to create the connector. Once the installation is done and the configuration is done, click on finish to finish the configuration, and as you can see, it has been enabled over here. The general rules will contain information related to the exchange of messages and emails. After that, we'll go and configure server configuration. So basically, mailbox will contain information related to the mailbox. The client access will contain the accessibility for the client, and by default it is disabled, so we need to enable it. To enable the exchange and the client access, click on enable, select it, and then click on enable anywhere, Outlook anywhere. Over here, you must type in the DNS name for the Exchange server that you typed in the configuration. So it is exchange.batelco.bh, and click on enable. And by going to the Exchange Active Sync, where this one basically is going to be used for configuring Outlook on mobile phones, on portable phones, and here are the rest of configuration. Continue on the next part.